Shut up and sit down.
That's awesome.
Hey, it's where the big boys play.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious.
All right, welcome to Square Brain Podcast, everybody. Episode number 64. We are just 2 days shy, coming off our May 4th show. Nobody dressed up like their favorite Star Wars figure, but it was a dark side of an event. It was one heel of a ring match. And I say that because almost no baby faces won, which I think should set up for a perfect May 18th show or revenge.
Well, I mean, technically, some baby faces won. They might have not. Well, I mean, the two big ones on the card on the poster. Big Joe Helms, he won. He got his couple minutes with Lucky P, and I say a couple minutes, because the rest of the Dogtown Underground came out and just demolished him basically.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you guys, what took you so long to get him out of the dog pound?
We didn't know what was going on.
Coming.
We had no idea what was going on. We were sitting in the back having a couple drinks and heard it, and we took off as soon as we heard.
And I'm not the fastest runner in the world, so I was more of a hop along, giddy up, type of run into the ring. But
well, you were on leash too.
But yeah. So I mean, technically Joe Helms did win. He got at least a couple shots off at Lucky P. So I mean, our part, we called that, and we actually technically called out that he had to watch out for the rest of them. I just assumed the rest of them would have came out during the match instead of
interject
after
really
the
quick?
match.
We purposely have no idea how things are going to go, so our predictions are real predictions, people.
Yeah. I mean, we're not entitled to anything, so this is just. Even Herb Simmons predicted something that didn't come true as well. Because he thought, well, wouldn't it be funny if Big Joe Helms lost and didn't get that 5 minutes with Lucky P? So, even his prediction wasn't true. Ours was more true. It's just it wasn't the way that we kind of predicted it.
But at least we got to see Big Joe use the belt and spank Lucky P like a brand new baby. A very ugly brand new baby.
And then, of course, the other baby team that, came through was the Top Guns. Very luckily, I might add, but, LA Hustlers thought they had won because they pinned Joey. But prior to that, they threw Brandon over the top rope, which was an automatic, disqualification. We still follow the St. Louis traditional rules, and if you throw your opponent over the top, you're disqualified. But so they were given the belts, I guess they weren't given the belts. They took the belts, basically. Thought they had won, did a little prance around the ring with them. Of course, then the ref, spoke his decision and said that, they were disqualified, for throwing Brandon over. So, they were able to retain the titles, the tag team titles from the LA Hustlers. So it was, 2 for 2 right there. It's just so happened.
They just had to remember that out in LA and California, because they're so twisted, everything goes, but not in the Midwest and St. Louis still.
Right. What did not come the truth was our predictions for our match. Of course, me and Bobby tagged against Attila Khan and Steve Fender.
Well, Bobby stopped for nachos and beer.
It was a brutal match. It was a technical match. Bobby does the technical wrestling, and he was able to counter Steve Fender, for move, and actually dominated for a while. Was really putting a hurting on Steve's arm. And my God, your chops was just crazy too. I mean, everyone was popping for your chops.
Yeah, he knows how to light a fire under me. Get an anger going.
Gotta tell you, on the footage though, with the sound in the big room, your chops echoed. Created a hell of a time for the sound.
Even better. I got in there and mixed it up with Attila for a little bit as well. But this is basically my first main match coming back from all my health issues that I had. So, I was in the match, but was I 100%? No. I was trying to keep pace with everyone and trying to keep up with my own tactics that I had. But, they able to use a fork on Bobby for a little bit, able to use a fork on me for a minute. Of course, they hide it throughout from the ref, so he didn't see any of this.
Unfortunately, I didn't get your forking because he hid it from me.
Yeah. Well, then he decided to take Bobby out for drinks and nachos. And I'm sure you got the footage of Attila sliding Bobby across the table, smacking in, going across. I tried to be a helping hand. I tried to revive Bobby with a beer that was on the table, but unfortunate for Bobby, there was no more beer left in the bottle. So,
that would have
been
been light, so nothing came out.
That would have been a motivation. Way better than those soggy chips that I got.
You should have used Miller Lite.
But yeah, so we got back in the match, and at one point, all 4 of us was in there, and I had this. They were trying to do a double suplex on me, and I was able to turn it around for a minute there, and kind of suplexed Fender and kind of DDT'd Attila at the same time. And of course, Attila was the legal man, so I threw Fender out, tagged in Bobby, and then I just kind of followed Fender out just to prevent anything from happening. And we ended up finding out through the crowd, and eventually, went back behind the curtain there, and kind of left Bobby to defend himself against Attila, which is never a good thing when it's Attila and a fork.
Just Attila, it would have been fine, but it was not. It was Attila and Stephen E. Too many Steves out there.
Too many Steves. But yeah, so they got the best of Bobby there for a second. Steve grabbed a hold of your boot or something like that.
I had Attila on the ropes, and I backed up to kind of run at him with my own version of a lariat. And Stephen E. grabbed the boot. I turned around to see what the hell that was, and turned around back to Attila and had a big old fork in my face. or throat more accurately.
Yeah, I know. I got one of Steve Fender's chops, and he got me like right in the chin, and then went down with it. So it's kind of a little awkward. Like, what the fuck,
I saw that weird shaped handprint on you.
Yeah, it was
Like, where's the
definitely a
rest of
weird
the
one.
hand? I thought maybe he got you in the throat the way the rest of the hand was missing.
But nonetheless, I felt it was at least a decent match in my book. Because I wasn't too sure what I was going to be capable of. Like I said, I wasn't really going in there 100%. Literally, truly got cleared the day before. I got mainly cleared Friday to even do it. But yeah, so we get 2 weeks off. I get 2 weeks. I can try to get some more cardio in and get back to training. Of course, I'll be training 2 weeks this week, 2 days this week, 2 days next week. Try to get everything going. So hopefully by the Fan Fest, I got big old Bull Bronson at the Fan Fest. So it's gonna be two 400 pounders. Well, I'm pretty sure he's probably close to 450, maybe 460, going at it. So it's gonna be interesting.
There you go. There's a good still of your match from on Saturday.
Yeah, there we go. I was just taking advantage of what Bobby did to Steve Fender's arms already, because Bobby worked him over pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying to get your nacho and beer. Oh, there you go. I turned the sound off because it's too loud for me.
Oh, okay. That's
That
right.
old age
Me and
catching up
Bobby
to
didn't
you.
want to hear it anyway.
It's that old age catching up to him. He's too loud.
Pretty soon he's gonna be driving and having to turn the radio down so he can think. I do that already.
Too much.
That was one he did right there. I ain't really seen that before. That caught me off guard. Just kind of sidestep and split the ropes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Man, I thought for sure I had him. Oh well, this is the table spot. Yeah.
There's your nachos. The executives for that company really liked Bobby up close and personal.
I'm sure they did.
That's Worldwide Tech Executives, everybody.
Yeah, I'm trying to feed him some beer, try to get him pumped back up to go in there.
You see the nachos on my singlet there and face.
Yeah.
And
gotta enjoy.
You could have rolled me back in our corner. Just thoughts for next time.
Well, I think I actually tried to get you on our side, but I think you were going that way anyway, so I think you just went. But I tried. I don't know if we'll get to the spot there or not, but there was a part where Attila, took you over to our side of the ropes, which was just a stupid mistake, and stuck his head out long enough to where I kicked him, and I thought for sure I was going to rattle the cage there, but him being hard headed or whatever, he just blew it off. So like nothing ever happened.
I didn't see the nachos on your face the first time I watched through this Saturday night. I saw it there though, right on your cheek.
I saw it as it came
right there, you see
closer
it?
and closer and closer. Is it still on there?
Yeah, it's still there. All the way down your face.
I knew I tasted it for a while.
See, this is him again cheating with the damn fork and then sticking it back. Oh, I think this is the spot here. Yeah, he stuck his head out there, so.
Oh, nice shot.
Right, I teach my kids, my students, that when you're in a tag match, you have to cut off the ring and you keep your opponent on 3 different sides of the ring. Whatever side your opponent, his tag team member is standing on, you never go to that side of the ropes.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
that
you
crescent
always go
moon
to the
movement.
other 3. And he just, I guess he didn't learn that. And so he stuck his head out on our side, so I took advantage of it there.
Well, I'm sure he learned it, and I think he gets to a point where he doesn't care. He just wants to hurt somebody.
He does have a big noggin on him too. Thick. Come on,
Yeah, this
push.
is like, come on, just a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. And until automatically just started coming in. So I just knocked him one and then kind of ping ponged myself between the 2.
Did
But
Steve really think hitting you on the shoulder was going to hurt at this point?
Maybe he was aiming for the heart.
Well, I'm sure he knows Jim's shoulders are surgically repaired. But not when you have adrenaline.
right?
I needed to get up and show that wide ass chest and Bobby's slap markers. He's
Did you say?
wider than the pure snow in Alaska.
All in all, it was a good match. It could have gone either way. I mean, anytime you're going against Fender and Attila, both guys trained by Harley Race, you're in for a battle. So I mean, it's not like you're ever going to win the war with them, but you can win battles against them. So yeah, here they're trying to double suplex me. Like, I don't think so.
Does that still qualify as a double suplex?
I guess it is in my for me, I guess.
Well, this is where the crowd was yelling top rope to Bobby.
Ooh. Took a nice little hit right there on the chin too again.
You almost hit the cameraman, should have.
There was a couple times I almost hit that cameraman. He was just getting too close.
Oh, yeah, I talked to him about that to step back.
I say if we don't want that camera broken.
Although after summer, we're moving to a different camera.
No, really?
Yeah, I'm tired of.
Well, I think was this the first time you guys actually used the one that was on the mount, or did you guys use that last one too?
We used it last one. That's why we haven't seen any of that footage because it was absolute trash.
Oh, so he did better this time then, right?
A lot better, just still too close to you guys. You two weren't the only ones that complained he was way too close.
No.
And there was Lucky P was trying to get to do some extra curriculars out of the ring, and he had to step around the cameraman to do it. And to insert yourself in the shot is a cardinal sin in being a cameraman, especially an action cam. You need to stay back enough. If you become part of the action, you die.
We used to have a photographer, and he would put his camera in between the ropes. And I heard of multiple wrestlers say when they'd see stuff like that, their goal was to try to kick it and break it.
Yeah, but all these guys know better with my stuff.
Back in the day, when we would wrestle, and this wasn't for SICW, but we would wrestle some places that would have like chandeliers or the disco balls hanging from the ceiling, and that was my goal, was to hit a stalling suplex on someone and have their feet knock that chandelier down or hit that crystal ball or whatever. And even very rarely do I go to the top rope, but if something was up there hanging down, even I would try to go to the top rope to try to knock it down when I'm coming off or something like that. That was just a little goal of mine every time we were put into these weird places, because not all of them were VFWs or fireman halls or something like that. Sometimes you'd be put in some weird buildings that you're like, fuck this place. Yeah, let's tear it down.
Well, doesn't the
You know,
Mac have chandeliers that are 100 years old?
and that's why I never did it at the Mac.
And their chandeliers are also like 30 feet above the ring.
Right, right.
And
Yeah,
Tiffany
Texas can't
crystal.
jump that high.
I don't think Billy McNeil can jump that high.
Well, I want to get on the balcony. See if we
And
can
jump
touch.
off?
Yeah, see if we can touch. It would only be a one-time thing.
So really, in 2 weeks, the big fan fest, we don't really know the card. The card has not been put out. There's some matches we know. Like, of course, me, like I said, I got, now I forgot his name. See how
Bull
quickly that
Bronson.
goes? Bull Bronson. And then, who else? I know there's a girls match.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. The daughter of one of the Freebirds.
Miranda Gordy.
Yeah, Miranda Gordy. She's wrestling at night.
Yeah, but she was supposed to wrestle last time too.
Well, yeah, that's she got snowed out, and she had pictures, and everyone knew that where she was got snowed out. But yeah, she's wrestling a girl that was wrestling. She normally wrestles for WOW, Women of Wrestling. Um, but she's coming in. She's evidently very popular over in the California area and stuff like that. So she's coming in
I
and
bet
taking
it's
a
not
shot at
that
Miranda.
something the gamer girl, is it?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm on the event page. And I'm not seeing it in here yet. I'm seeing. Oh, here it is, right here. Tatovic the gamer.
Yeah. So it's I know that one, and normally where Miranda goes, her
Miles.
boyfriend goes. So I'm sure he's going to have a match there. I don't know who against though. I'm sure
Well,
Bobby.
the last one was controversial, so.
Right.
We do have now. They're just there as special guests, but we do have a reunion of Flash Flanagan and the Tokyo Monster Kahagas. Be good to see them mix it up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if they'll be wrestling or not, but
Yeah,
Tokyo, man, he is
pesky Missouri
one.
license.
Yeah, he's one badass motherfucker, man. I've been in the ring against him and him being on being partners, and I tell you, it's much easier that night when he's partners with you than being versus. Because he was a former NWA champion back before the Smashing Pumpkins lead singer bought him out. So he's like I hate to say the word legitimate NWA champion, but it was still back when the territories were going versus the NWA now that we know that Billy Corgan uses his own guys and they just wrestle kind of like if they were a WWE or AEW company. So this is still back in the territories when Tokyo Monster won his NWA championship. Even though the NWA seems like they're going to start trying to do these territories, because they've already picked two companies to be like, I guess they're farming territories where they're going to be a part of the NWA, but it's still those guys that wrestle for that organization is wrestling for them. Of course, the mixture of the NWA talent is going to go there and wrestle on the cards and stuff like that. Going to be like a farm system. WWE always had a farm system. until their farm system became a whole part of the company, NXT. So they don't really have a farm system anymore. They just pick and choose who they want. And of course, who's going to turn? Not a whole lot of people turn down a WWE contract.
You did.
But, huh?
You did.
I didn't turn down a WWE contract. It was.
Well, you were supposed to go to Florida.
Florida.
To prep for it.
That was still FCW. That's it was totally still. I don't know how to word that because they were backed by the WWE, I guess you would say, but they were still their own thing, FCW. And eventually that turned into NXT. But yeah, totally cool. But yeah, so we're still trying to hear word back if WLW is going to be their next territory that they develop. They had a big card last month or a month and a half ago where every single WLW wrestler that had gold or even their top guys were going against NWA guys. And from what I understand, it was a pretty good sellout. So it's just a matter of time if they make the decision. Who wouldn't want to have Harley's group WLW under their wing? It's a damn good group because most of the guys were trained by Harley, and those guys are the trainers now. So it's still, you're still considered Harley guys, and it's an elite group. But so that'd be kind of cool if WLW goes that route and gets under the NWA banner. I think it'll just be good for St. Louis. And plus, of course, we use a lot of their guys too. Steve Fender's from there. Austin Malitello is from there, and he comes in and wrestles. So it'd be kind of cool. So when it comes to the Mayfest, we all know that it's going to start Friday with the one-man show, the Bill After one-man show. See, I've written this stuff down this time, so I don't have to try to remember it. And even though it's billed as a one-man show, he is still going to have special guests. Teddy Long has already announced that he's going to be part of the special guest. Medusa is going to be part of the special guest. So it's going to be like a comedy routine, storytelling with a Q&A as well, because he said he's going to get the fans involved. I'm wondering what kind of road stories he would tell. Because he's been everywhere too, but not as a wrestler. He was always the one writing about the wrestling, or a lot of the wrestlers would feed him information to write about. Especially if it's so funny because WWF or WWE at the time, they really hate those guys that bring out spoilers and stuff like that. But a lot of times it was the wrestlers themselves that were feeding the information to them because they wanted to get over, because if you made it into the magazines on a regular basis, more people knew about you and put you higher on the card and, eventually got you more money in your pocket. So I'm wondering if you can tell some secrets about that on who was the biggest guy who would feed him info, or I'm sure, a lot of the wrestlers hung out with him too. And, I'm sure they made friends where they would tell some stories along the lines of that. But
well, James Beard would travel with the Von Erichs all the time. So I'll message James and see what type of stories he can get me to ask Bill.
Well, so James was the referee, though. That's a little bit different than just a news reporter type of guy.
Yeah, but not in the ring. Harley leaning out the window shooting highway signs is the same no matter if it's James or Bill.
Okay. I'm just saying their viewpoints are going to be totally different because one, was in the business and the other one was an outsider looking in. Sometimes it can be a little bit different. But
just pointing a direction for me to ask during the Q&A.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
to get him to start talking.
So that's of course that's Friday night. That's May 17th, and then on May 18th is the big Fan Fest. You know, I've been doing podcasts the last couple of days with other people of people coming in. You know, like I was telling you, I did a podcast last night for a guy up in the Pennsylvania area. You know, nowhere close to St. Louis, but this guy is coming in. He deals with the wrestling show out there, and he's coming in to see what St. Louis is about and coming in to see all these legends. So I'm just gonna go through some here. You know, Sergeant Slaughter, Haku, Dan Severn, Tommy Rich, our friend James Beard, Greg the Hammer Valentine. Um, let's see, Medusa, we already talked about. Lindy Richter, Teddy Long, Jimmy Hart, Tito Santana, Akeem, Coco Beware, JBL, you know, was a recent add-on. Let's see here. The One Man Gang. Now, these are,
Godfather, Tito Santana, Dr. D, David Schultz,
yeah, so these are guys
Brian
that,
Blair, Rock and Roll Express.
you know, what, regardless of what wrestling promotion you watched as a kid, whether it be AWA, WCCW, WWF, or NWA/WCW, these guys, you know, these are guys who you watched on TV. These are the guys you looked up to, you watched, you idolized. You know, me and Bobby and Nate is lucky to have met a few of these and became social friends with them. You know, Haku, we always talk about Haku, and every time he comes in, he's like our brother from another mother. You know, he is so down to earth, and never seen the pissed off Haku that
Don't want to.
yeah, don't want to. We're not going to try to push those buttons.
I'll
But
let
it's
you
great.
do it. I'll watch and tell the story of the man that once was Jim.
Oh no, that won't
No,
happen.
Haku would let him live. He just one eyeball less or something.
One eyeball less.
And half a nostril.
Hey, how great is it that both his sons are in the WWE right now? They are redoing that whole bloodline. You know, I wrote them down too, so I can't butcher their names, and I probably still will butcher their names. Tonga Lu and Tama Tonga. Um, both kind of debuted a week apart from each other to continue the bloodline story with Roman Reigns being out. You know, Solo needed you know, some people to get behind him. Kind of still ran with Paul E. You know, he's still there in the picture. Don't know if he's actually doing anything because lately he's been doing that whole chicken shit type of manager type of role. But
Well, there's also still another Samoan under contract that hasn't debuted yet either.
you talking about the other brother?
No, I'm talking about Jacob Fatu. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
brothers. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna butcher this word too. Hikalu, I think, is the other brother. I mean, yeah, the other son of Haku. And he is still kind of still in New Japan, kind of in, I think it's TNA that he's in. I don't know if his contract is expired or anything that he can jump and become part of the bloodline with WWE. But it would be so cool if all three of his sons are in it right now together, you know?
But Jacob Fatu, he's not one of their brothers. I
Right.
forgot.
I
Jacob
think
Fatu
he's
was working for.
Rikishi's son.
Yeah, I say he's one of those brothers. He was
Right.
working for Booker T for a long time. Yeah, he's got the build of Umaga, but flies around like the Usos.
Well,
Maybe better.
this Huka man, Hikulua, the third brother from
Mhm.
Haku. he's supposed to be like 7 foot tall or something like that. You know, he's supposed to be like crazy tall. But he is like not as seasoned as the other two brothers, because the other two brothers, they spent a lot of time in Japan, and they were actually gorillas of destiny over there in Japan, and they were just kicking ass, multiple time tag champions.
For a little while, Haku was accompanying them to the ring.
Yeah, and so it'd be interesting to see how this bloodline storyline goes. It'd be kind of cool to get. I mean, so many of those guys are related. It's just crazy. It was just a matter of time before a bloodline story developed. You know.
Hikuleo is 6'8".
Yeah, so damn near 7 foot tall. So I mean,
That's a big guy.
right.
How tall is Stephen E's new female wrestler?
You know, I think she's about 6'8" too.
But she does not weigh 264 pounds like him.
No. She's probably $150 or something like that. But I tell you, I was
I'm
watching
more
from
than
the
that.
curtain. I was watching from the curtain and just seeing her walk to the ring and seeing how taller she was compared to everyone that were
Even
standing
compared to
up.
Stephen E. Now, he was a
Right.
pretty tall guy too.
Kind of crazy. So, and that supposedly is the daughter of Khan. Attila's daughter. So, you know, you imagine how dangerous he is. Just see how crazy she is. It's going to be something. But yeah, so I know I kind of got off on Haku's kids, but man.
Well, there's bloodline in that picture up there, so for the 18th.
In Bobby's picture.
Yeah, Barbara and Bobby and the Bruiser Brody Cup.
Okay, well that's a weird way to say it, a bloodline, but
I don't think I share any blood with him. It'd be cool if I did, but
yeah. So of course, like going into Saturday, you have the Fan Fest where you can meet almost 70 legends. You know, the ones that we named, plus a handful that we didn't name, like all the Glow Girls that are coming. And there's you know, Harvey Whippleman is going to be there. So there's a bunch still that we didn't name off.
Tony Romo, Coco Beware, Stan Hansen,
Yeah, so I mean,
Greg
there's
Gagne, Jim Brazell. Yeah, there's
so
a
many
bunch
people
if
that
you
you
go on
can
the event page.
meet and get their autographs from. But so that is just one section of the Saturday, and then we go into the Hall of Fame, and you know, Gary Jackson is going in for the Sam Mushnick Award.
Well
Cowboy
deserved.
Bob Orton Jr. is going in, and you know he's gonna be inducted by his entire family. That's gonna be there. So it's, you know, we can't mention the name, but Randy Orton is.
Well, we
you know,
can, but
it's-
Mr. Herb Simmons could.
Let's not get him in trouble for doing this.
well, I'll get close.
Just in case they see it, let's not get him in trouble. But we
What's
could
the
say
difference
the
between
entire Orton family.
Saturday?
If we
What's
say
the
the
difference between
entire Orton
Saturday?
family will be there, then I think people get the idea.
Right.
The
Yeah.
whole
So
family.
that's gonna be
Entire
totally cool.
family.
The whole
The whole family.
The whole.
Well, I told Nick on Saturday, and I go, I'll announce it. What's WWE gonna do to me?
I don't know. How much are you worth?
We've already battled WWE.
Yeah, but this is a whole different area. But yeah, so that's
This
gonna be
is
cool.
one of
He's
those
being
where
inducted.
if you piss them off, they say, "Okay, he's not coming." That's why I say let's not push it.
That's true. It affects more than me. So
I know there's a girl that's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. You know, I forget her name right now, but so there's going to be the class this year is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then after that happens, then there's the wrestling show.
Harold Koppler is also going to be inducted.
Oh yeah, I think
I'm
we
looking
talked
for the
about
girl's
him.
name right now.
We talked about Harold. He was the one that brought Wrestling at the Chase to the television. So I mean, he had the studio, he had the TV network, and made that handshake deal with Sam Mushnick, and the rest is history. So he definitely deserves to be in there.
I mean, there wouldn't be St. Louis wrestling without Wrestling at the Chase. So that's it right there.
Right.
Leilani Kai is the other inductee.
So definitely very cool setup that we got going on. So much stuff to do. There's vendors going to be in the hallways. So if you got a figure itch, you need a scratch, you can buy some figures. There's going to be podcasts set up in the hallway.
That was really weird.
So
you got a figure itch.
Going on this the event page for FanFest 2, I thought they were already in it, but it says class of 24 will also be Judy Martin and Wendy Richter is also getting inducted. I knew they were going to be there. I thought they were already in the Hall of Fame though.
There was only a handful of girls in the Hall of Fame, so that's kind of cool that a couple more is going to go in. But Wendy Richter, I think she is going to be one of the main ones I want to see, because you don't see her at a bunch of fan fests. She doesn't go out and do any of these. So to see her and be able to meet her, and the 80s, the rock and roll wrestling, that was my thing. Rock and wrestling. Hulk Hogan and Wendy Richter were the twos leading that. Going against Roddy Piper, and that whole couple years there with Lou Albano and Cyndi Lauper. That was what got me drawn into wrestling. So that's kind of cool that she's going to be there. Love to meet her.
Couple of rubber bands in your Lou.
Right. So I mean, that's going to be totally cool. But let's get to this wrestling show. I mean, we already announced some of the matches. The big one for Bobby. This is one thing I'm just going to chime in that I kind of wish that even as the champion, I could still go into this match, because this is how big this match is. But they won't do it. They didn't do it last year. Wouldn't let me do it last year. Probably won't let me do it this year. But Bobby's the only two-time back-to-back Bruiser Brody, Tony Costa, Larry Matisic trophy winner. And this is what started the whole fan fest right here. That trophy. Because we always did a Bruiser Brody Battle Memorial. And of course, the other names eventually got added on. Unfortunately, because they passed as well, rest in peace to both of them. Big supporters of me and Bobby. Larry always talked about how we are the workhorses, and Tony Costa pretty much let us get our start. Maybe not our first couple matches, but you got wrestling shows, and then you got ones that can elevate you. And back in the day, MMWA was one of those places. And then, of course, now we work for SICW, but there was a time, believe it or not, both of those companies worked together. And Tony did support both of us, and we definitely owe him a lot. So it was great to have his name added onto this trophy. But so the Mayfest, normally in May, we always did a tribute to Bruiser Brody, and Barbara Goodish would come in and give the trophy out to whoever won the Battle Royal. And then, that was also when we started bringing in people to make that one particular show bigger. So, I know one year, Abdul the Butcher came in with it, and then another year, Wow, man, what the hell is that guy? With the mustache that curled up? You
Zach
remember?
Colton.
Yeah. So he came in. Of course, he was with Brody the night that he passed away. So was Abdul the Butcher. So we started bringing in more people that had association with Bruiser Brody. And then all of a sudden, the Fan Fest broke out. Like, what if we could make this a one big day affair and have, St. Louis's very own Fan Fest, first of its kind. And we did it last year. It was a great success. And so Herb Simmons and SICW decided they were going to top it. Last year it was 50 guys, and now it's close to 70 guys. So, man.
So what I'm hearing is everybody needs to pack this place. So number 3 can be even bigger.
Right. That
Well,
would be
because we were
awesome.
talking about that on Saturday. Last Saturday was FanFest 3. Already looking forward to year.
It puts a lot of stress on Herb, puts a lot of stress on a lot of people behind the scenes. But I think they get so much enjoyment out of it too. Being around all their friends the whole weekend that it makes it worthwhile. And literally, this Fan Fest literally started being put together literally the week after the last year's Fan Fest because so many
Didn't Herb say
fans
the next
contacted
night?
Herb. So many fans contacted Herb and said, "Hey, that was great. When's the next one? Or how are you going to top the next one?" And so that literally got the ball rolling. Right after the Fan Fest ended, the ball started rolling for this one. And definitely, Herb was trying to outdo it because, we even added a second night, added more legends. So it's definitely going to be kind of crazy.
It starts at 10 a.m.
Yeah, it starts at 10 a.m. And it's going to probably go until 10 p.m. So it's definitely going to be a long day for the wrestling fans. But it is broken down to where there is breaks in between. And there's going to be food offered there. There's going to be a bar there. So you can definitely do some socializing, eating with your family, drinking with the family, and then getting ready for the next part to start. Now, if you get on to sicw.org, you can order like a whole package of all 3 things, or you can just do it individually. You can just come in for the Fan Fest, or come in for the Hall of Fame, or just come in for the wrestling, or just come in for the one-man show on Friday. It's totally up to you.
Although if you come to the one-man show, you can't get autographs, you can't take pictures.
Right.
No
so
video.
literally, it's best to do it all. That's what I'm going to do. I bought my tickets already for the one-man show. So we're going to be there watching it, because very rare does Bill Apter get out and do this show too. And if it's anything like Hacksaw Jim Duggan's show that I got to see, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be great. So I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome weekend of wrestling.
And at the end of May 18th, Bobby will be the only 3-peat champion of the Bruiser Brody Cup. And he'll be able to leave with it this time.
I left with it last time. Herb put his foot down.
Yeah, so I mean, I hate to say that there's a show that's going to come up after that, because I think this is the show of all shows for this year. If you're a true wrestling fan, this is the show to come to. However, the show next month is going to be for the race car wrestling and concert, going fans. And I bought my tickets to this as well, for the family. Of course, I'll be wrestling in it. But for the family, I already bought the tickets. And we are going to be wrestling. What's the Worldwide Technology Raceway? Did I get that right? So they are having their first NASCAR race of the year, June 1st and 2nd. Of course, we are more concerned about June 1st. because June 1st it's going to be some NASCAR racing, there's going to be some wrestling, and it's going to be some ludicrous music, man. It's going to be crazy. You know, it's going to be weird because when you think about racing, and sometimes when you think about wrestling, you think the South, you think the Southern hillbilly country boys, but then they bring in ludicrous to kind of pop a little other culture in there, and I think that's crazy, and I think it's going to work. You know, so
And for the people who like country, Adam Wainwright's going to be there on the first, Dixie Chicks to follow on the second, and then some other people, but I don't remember what they were saying.
yeah, so it's man, and you can again you go to well no you can't, you can only come to the Mayfest and get your tickets for that there. Yeah,
I
I
talked to
mean
Josh.
you can get your tickets on a much discounted cheaper price at the Mayfest on May 18th. Now you can go to the raceway and buy tickets there for it, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money. So my suggestion is to go to the Mayfest and then turn around and go to the how do you pronounce it? Because I butchered it. Melee on the Midway.
Yep.
Got it twice now.
Look at that.
Yep.
2 for 2 tonight. But definitely, that's going to be a great show too. So they're going to do. I hate the word to use tryouts because there's a special name for it, like
Qualifying rounds.
qualifying. Thank you. Qualifying, then some wrestling, then the actual racing, and then some more wrestling, and then Ludacris hits the stage to close out the night.
And there are on both flanks of the stage where you guys are coming out and wrestling, there's a 300 car classic and sport and supercar car show on one side and a 100 car classic and supercar show on the other side.
Yeah, so definitely a lot to do Saturday and Sunday as well. You know, they're gonna have more activities. You know, they just definitely want the fans to just stay all day and enjoy the day and give a lot of activities to be done. You know, the car shows for free, the wrestling's for free, Ludacris being on stage is for free. You know, it's just trying to get the NASCAR fans there and give them something to do while they're there the whole weekend. You know,
And from what
definitely
I
family
understand,
oriented.
this has taken 5 years to complete. From start to planning for June 1st, it's been 5 years. So everybody in St. Louis and surrounding area, hell, Chicago, Kansas City, y'all need to come to keep this stuff
Well,
to keep happening.
what they say, about 30 to 40,000 people is what that place holds, and that's what they expect for it to be jam packed since it's NASCAR. So I mean that's going to be great. We talked about a lot of it's going to be shown on ESPN, which that helps us out. SICW, so many eyes are going to be on us. Via the 40,000 are there or the millions watching on ESPN. So it's definitely a great show for SICW to be on.
And everybody going, I will be on stage, but ignore me. I'm going to try and hide.
But again, just like the Mayfest, there's a little rumor that if this goes great this weekend, that there's 3 more NASCAR shows that are happening this year. And if it goes great this first weekend, then they're going to bring wrestling back. So, I mean, that's what we love to hear. We love to be able to put on a great show and be demanded back, and so definitely come out to the show, watch everything, and then demand some more wrestling. So that'd be awesome. Herb is just constantly up in the ante every year. Last year, about this time, we talked about how, this year was so great. We did the MAC, we did, FanFest 1. We did the wrestling at the Chase. Like, there's no way, Herb can top, next year what we did this year. And then he goes and tops what we did last year. We were still going back to the MAC. And from last week's post, our podcast, he come out and Herb actually announced that it's Hulk Hogan that's coming into the MAC. Hopefully, if the contracts get signed, it'll be Hulk Hogan coming into the MAC to share the spotlight. The Fan Fest 2, and now this melee on the Midway. It's just crazy.
You did so good until that one.
Did I?
You were
Melee,
1,000
Midway?
until then.
Well, I couldn't be 3 for 3. I just want to be a normal podcast.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so definitely, man, he just keeps topping it and topping it. So, and we're not even, June 1st. This is the way of the year. 6 months in, we're not even talking about the last 6 months of the year because we got so many bookings the last 6 months of the year too. So and I think the month of October, and I think I heard September, and it's just nonstop. Like every damn weekend is just packed. So, gonna be crazy.
Yep.
What's cool
like
is on the wrestling side for you guys, they have a suite all decked out for you to where you guys can go in and watch the wrestling, eat and drink, air conditioned, all set.
Yeah, not too shabby.
It'll be alright.
Yeah, I guess I heard we're gonna be sharing the stage with Ludacris. I heard the dressing rooms are all the same room, so
Yep.
you never know.
I'm waiting on Herb to arrange it for him to play me a song for me to walk to the ring to.
No, the best is once he hears you sing, Bobby, that Ludacris will have no choice but to get you out on stage with him and help him get his momentum back and start being more known as a musician again instead of an actor.
If he wants some low monotone mumbling, I got him.
Mumble rap.
That is awesome. It just brought me back to I watched this thing about Kurt Hennig the other day about when Master P was in WCW with his little group, and Kurt Hennig started his little country group and actually came out with a country song, and it was called "Rap Is Crap."
I bet it was perfect.
Huh?
I bet it was perfect.
I believe it was perfect. Yeah, because the actual song sucked, but it had such a catchy tune that everyone started to know the lyrics, and it would actually, how Chris Jericho, comes to the ring now, and everyone sings Fozzy. Back in the day, they were singing his song because Kurt actually wrote that song, and they literally played it on, created a record for it. So it's kind of crazy.
But everybody, if you've never been there, the picture of the Midway is up there. That I believe is after the renovations.
Yeah, definitely is an awesome little racetrack. They used to have Midnight Madness there, and a lot of guys that I would associate with would just go up there and pay the money, and you could race anything, So any kind of car that you had a chance to tune up, or not even tune up at all, you can take it out there and see how fast it'll go.
Yeah, I still hear all the time where they want that to start up again.
Oh, I bet they do.
I know the officers do, because they're doing the illegal street racing all around here still.
Right. Well, the only other thing, this comes to the Big Texans toy corner. The only other thing I have for you guys is actually what I picked up and what my oldest boy bought me this week. Or technically, some of it was last week, but it was after we did the podcast. So everyone knows that besides wrestling, I collect Star Wars stuff. and I actually picked up a couple of Star Wars things. You know, I love Target. Target always clearance things out all the time, and this was one of the Star Wars figures that went on clearance for $3. Like, I could not believe that. You know, Star Wars. If you look at Target or Walmart, Star Wars are going for like $25, $26 just for this little bitty figure, and they clearanced it down to $3. Now, if you're into pops, they even clearanced out their pop section too. This is Boba Fett and a pop itself, and this thing was clearanced down to $10. Now, Boba Fett has always been like my number one, Star Wars guy, which is so funny because he had such a small scene in
3 minutes.
Yeah, and it wasn't even in the first movie; it was in the second movie.
And he got ate by a big vagina.
I thought they
funny
showed all
thing,
the Jedi's in the first one.
if you see it, it's actually that little ship that he was on when he fell into it. But that was kind of cool. So
He couldn't just use the Jedi Force and stop it?
he's not a Jedi, sir. he's a
He couldn't have Scotty beam him up?
wrong one. He is a Mandalorian, so he didn't have.
How come the Cylons weren't his backup?
I don't know. But eventually,
that's too old for Bobby.
Eventually, he got his own miniseries, and that miniseries was really cool too. But I think what my son picked up for me, which was pretty cool. This is the Undertaker before he was the Undertaker. Mean Mark Cullos, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's just a badass figure. It's the Undertaker before he was the Undertaker.
And he has that confused look on his face still.
He's thinking of that beating that Brody gave him still.
Yep.
You guys ever seen that clip of him versus Bruiser Brody?
Not the clip of the match itself, but of Undertaker talking about it.
Oh my God! So I mean, it's out there.
It sprinkled it in there, but it wasn't a straight match.
Yeah, if you look it up on YouTube, they show it, and he wasn't joking, man. He tried calling that match against Bruiser Brody, and Brody's like, rookie, just threw him out of the ring, and yeah, it was the old style wooden chairs, and he broke that chair over his back, and my God, that had to hurt like a son of a bitch. At least steel chairs have somewhat of a give, because that dent you can put into it, that's kind of like the give. There's no give when you when you get swung on with a wooden, old-fashioned, thick-ass wood, chair. But yeah, he definitely splintered that. But it's so cool. But yeah, so that was his name back in WCW. So it was kind of cool. He used to tag with Dan Spivey back in those days, and then of course Dan Spivey was always a hit and miss. He would no show dates and stuff like that, whatever territory he was in, and eventually got him kicked out of WCW, which left Mean Mark by himself. And that's when he talked to Ole Anderson when his contract was up, and they were like, "There ain't no one who's gonna come to a wrestling show to watch you." And that's when he left, and then became the Undertaker. And decades later, hands down, he's going into the Hall of Fame. Well, yeah, he just went into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago, and just retired. So. Man, he's done well for himself, I think.
I think people came and watched him. One or two.
Right.
But, I'll start getting pops when they put one of you and Bobby out.
You say that, but as pops come, you can actually send in your picture and actually get them to make a pop of you. So I mean.
Yeah, as far When I looked into that for SICW, you had to have a certain amount of pre-sales for them to do
I
Oh,
that.
say
no.
they've got the
Uh,
customized ones now. It's just there's very limited options on everything.
yeah. But you can definitely get it done. But, yeah, so that's it for my toy corner. Nothing eBay related this time, but I do got some things coming in that I'll get ready for the next week's show. So definitely adding to my figures. And Matt Cardona is the one that came up with that phrase. If you gotta, scratch your figure itch. Uh, hats off to him. He just had pec surgery. Evidently, he wrestled in a match and tore his pec, so he's going to be out for quite some time. A couple news too. Drew McIntyre is evidently injured or something's wrong with him because he was supposed to be. I hate the fact that they took away the King of the Ring as a pay-per-view, and now it's just like a tournament that they're doing. But tonight was supposed to be the first night of the tournaments, and Drew McIntyre was supposed to be in it, but he is already out with, could be an injury, but the doctors didn't clear him to wrestle, is what they're saying. But he just re-signed with the WWE, so he's definitely under contract. Supposedly, it's a lot of money. Him and Seth Rollins just re-signed. Um, so it's supposed to be a multi-year deal, and most of the time when it's a multi-year deal, it's 5 years. Um, so we'll definitely see him back, but they have not come forth of why he was kicked out of the tournament tonight. But I really loved that tournament as a pay-per-view. One guy could end up wrestling 3 or 4 times in that night, and that King of the Ring. That's what actually created Stone Cold. Uh, he was wrestling. I forgot who he wrestled, but then he got busted open where he had to leave. He got stitches. And then when he was coming back to the ring, coming back to the arena, they told him, hey, Jake the Snake advanced, so you and Jake have got the next match. And that's he came up with 316, because Jake the Snake was kind of dealing with a Bible type of character, and he would go out and preach. And then Stone Cold took advantage of that and said, talk about your John's. Was it John or James 3:16? John, talking about your prayers and all this. He goes, well, Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass. And that's what started his whole career. He also threw in the punchline because Stone Cold said so. And so, both of those were immediately T-shirts the very next day. And,
I
that's
say
what
you could
really,
see the legit reaction from I can't think of his name, the Freebird. This interview and like his jaw dropped when he
Michael
heard that
Hayes.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that whole tournament, was so cool. I get it. Some years they didn't produce it right or promote it right. Back in the 80s, Haku won that. Owen Hart won it. I think Harley Race. Yeah, Harley Race even won that thing. So I mean, they used to do it right, but now it looks like they're dividing it up into the TV shows. So they kind of took away that whole pay-per-view version of it, which I think is the whole point of the King of Ring is being able to survive that night against everyone they throw at you. And now you have it broken up into weeks where it doesn't mean much now. You got a week. Supposedly, you got a week to prepare for the next week, where you had to have originally fight 3 or 4 times in one night to be cleared it. So
That's the money.
yeah, I'm not the booker. I'm not the one that puts it on. So, speaking of that, speaking of kings, Jerry the King Lawler was just let go today. And when I say let go, is his contract expired, and they decided not to give him an extension or a new contract. They just let him go.
Yep, and I was going to get into that too. Kevin Sullivan was fired. Brian Pillman, Sean Spears, Shawnee Kiss, and the Bunny all let go.
Did you say Brian Pillman, his son?
Brian Pillman Jr., yeah. Let go
Wow.
from AEW.
Oh, his son was already in the WWE. He got let go from AEW. But yeah, he's been in the WWE for a while. So did he get fired from WWE or AEW?
It just says on May 2nd he was let go.
I wonder if he was let go from the WWE then. I don't know, fans out there, if you're watching, comment and let us know if that's true or when that happened. But yeah, Jerry the King Lawler, Jim Ross and the King were always hands down my favorite commentary team. Something about them, reacting to each other, I think, made the Raw's commentary team like the best. Even Jim Ross and Paulie Dangerously, they did a good commentating, but not as good as Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. So it's kind of a sad day that Jerry the King Lawler will not be on WWE's programming anymore. And of course, Jim Ross hasn't been on the programming forever. He's been in AEW. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, that was my last minute thought.
But Jerry isn't going to suffer from his release or non-contract.
I already heard that he's already backing a promotion in Memphis already again. So it seems like he's just going to carry the ball rolling. He always had a promotion in Memphis the last couple of years, because he was sick and other things going on with promotions breaking up and other guys dying down in Memphis that were promoters. The whole Memphis area kind of got scrambled. But now, now they're saying that Jerry's actually backing a certain promotion. So, that promotion, I'm sure, is going to get a big boost with Jerry behind it. But that's all you got for me, guys. You guys want to talk about anything else?
No, I was just trying to find anything on Brian Pillman, and I can't find anything.
Yeah, maybe that was an old thing, because I know he used to work for AEW.
Yeah, just said from 5 days ago. So
I'm gonna have to do some research on that. Find
I'd
out
say
what.
Even when I look up AEW releases, that was back at the beginning of April.
Right. Yeah. So totally still a different month. I don't know. They had him doing so well in NXT for a while. He wasn't under the name Brian Pillman Jr. He was under some other name like King or something. But they at least had him going over. It looked like he had some good feuds. So it kind of sucks if that's true that they let him go. Because, man, they can always do another Hart Dynasty. They still got a lot of Hart people in that organization. So they can still even pull in Bulldog's son. And I know he's been back and forth with that company for a while, but they can always rekindle that, and have another Hart Foundation. Yeah. So yeah, definitely, guys. If any of this you guys could track down for us, put it in the comments section. Let us know, and we'll correct it next week on the podcast, and we'll even do a shout out to your name of who found out what actually happened. But I think we're to the point where I want to tell you guys, man, I know it's just three knuckleheads talking about wrestling, but if you like what you hear, definitely subscribe. Do us a favor and share it. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. We love to hear from you guys. I love to see you guys. So if you come in on Mayfest weekend, Nate's gonna be running around with a camera and a microphone, so get with him, and maybe all three of us would love to meet you. Of course, all three of us would love to meet you. So come shake our hands. Maybe we'll throw on a quick little live real quick and get you in. We'll do whatever we can, But yep, I think that's it. So from everyone at the Squared Ring Podcast, thanks for another great week, and we will see you at the Mayfest, May 18th, 10 a.m. See ya.
guys.